I'm Liz.
And I'm Marie. And this is Mock It, a podcast from MetroStar, where we take a deep dive into UX design, trending design topics, and making our work transform this government. Let's get started.
So today we have a really fun episode for you. We will be talking about forecasting the 2022 culture trends, and we have a special guest with us, Karen. If you want to take a second or a couple minutes, however long, to introduce yourself and let our listeners get to know you.
Hi, I'm Karen Laurie. I've been with MetroStar for about 3 months, but I'm a returned employee. I was here probably about 5 years ago.
It's much different this time, huh? Right? From 5 years ago, you got to return in person, and now to the remote return.
Yes, totally different, but still exciting. I'm still doing the same thing, trying to help the employees, trying to build the morale. Seeing when you're a remote, it's a little hard and you feel that sometimes you don't feel connected. And I'm trying to come up with ideas to bring the employees in to make them feel connected without actually physically being here.
Awesome. And for those listening, could you tell us a little bit about your role, maybe your title, just so people get to know you like we know you?
Okay. I'm the Senior People and Culture Manager, and my job is basically all things HR. I handle, unfortunately, I hate to say it first, but employee relations issues. Or if an employee need help, I can provide you information on benefits. If you're looking for ways to increase your work, I can work with you with getting in touch with the right people to explore different avenues of how you can grow.
Awesome. All right. So would you take a minute or so to describe your journey of navigating as a remote work as an HR professional? As Marie mentioned, it's definitely probably very different the last couple of years.
Yes, it definitely has been different. The good part is because we're an IT company, it's really easy because we do everything online anyway, all the way down to the onboarding and offboarding, you name it, we do it online. So you don't physically have to be here. And I find that a lot of employees enjoy that more because they have that work-life balance and we can work around their schedules a lot easier being remote.
How does getting employees like their gear, right? Like we have computers issued from MetroStar. That's all I have, but I don't know for other individuals what they might need.
We have been sending that out through FedEx for the most part. Our IT team has been handling most of that, whether that be a laptop or monitors, because since I'm here, I picked up my monitor to take it home just in case I work from home. So.
Cool. And then I guess, can you give us like a broader landscape view of, so basically remote has become super, super popular. Granted, it's sort of been forced on a lot of people because of, unfortunately, the pandemic, but it is a popular way of working. What makes a company stand out that does remote work? How, what tips and tricks do you think that MetroStar has done to help employees really grasp the remote workforce way of life?
Actually, I think just by working remote, more people are more engaged. You would think there was a time where you felt like if you let people work from home that they wouldn't do as much work, but the polls have shown, surveys have shown that you get more work now out of people being at home than you do in the office. So it's actually been really good to allow them the opportunity. Of course, because we're a government contractor, some people cannot work from home. And I kind of see the difference. So we have to do a little more things for them outside of the office just to keep them engaged because they're not able to have that flexibility like most employees.
So that is actually going to be a follow-up question with how do you build a sense of community? And I guess it's a two-part question. How do you build a sense of community with remote workers? How do you build a sense of community bridging the gap between remote workers and those who are on site at their client?
Mm-hmm.
It's been hard, and we've been pulling in the program managers to help us with that also. Because of the pandemic, we don't want people to feel like they're required to make these functions or to be around other people. We give you the opportunity and the option to do it if you want. But we've been doing like happy hours for some, and just meet and greets and stuff like that, and giving them swag, company swag, because apparently that's been a big thing.
I like swag. I feel like it goes a long way.
I was gonna say it transitions us into the next topic, right? Like with being remote, right? You don't have the happy hours or the random lunches or snacks. So how are we revamping benefits for 2022 going forward? You mentioned swag is awesome.
Right. As far as the benefits, it varies. It's a wide range that we have to work with because it depends on the person. Everybody is not the same. Somebody wants this, but somebody else wants something else. So we've been just trying to figure out, we're going to provide a survey to all of the employees to try to actually see what do you want instead of us giving you what we think you want. But I think right now we need to do a lot more digging and try to figure out what we can actually do that really help the employees get what they want. Granted, we're not going to give everybody what they want, but we got to at least try.
So I have a follow-up question on that. With the employee surveys, do you have any like advice for people who might be like a little shy to answer the surveys, or like might think like they're anonymous, but maybe they're really not anonymous, or like, like, do you have any?
Actually, it will be anonymous. All we're going to get is the feedback. We're not who sent what, just what we want, what we really need. We really need to figure out what employees are really looking for, and that is what we really want. We don't need to know who it is. We just need to know what it is. So
that's awesome. And like I know that MetroStar does a wonderful job of trying to keeping things anonymous, but there is always that like
skepticism.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, can I say this? Can I not? Like, how honest can I be?
Well, I actually feel that you should always be 100% honest, because if you are not honest, I can't help fight for you. My job is to fight for you. I can't fight for you and I don't know what you need. I don't know what you want. If you don't tell me, I can't help. So you got to be honest, and don't look at it in the negative connotation. Just look at it as they asked the question, so I'm going to give them my true opinion. I think that's the best way to look at a survey. Provide your honest opinion, 100%. We cannot help without knowing.
That was really reassuring.
Yeah. I was like, she sounds just like when we do user testing and we're like, go hard on these designs. Like, we don't care, but it's the same. Like, we don't get upset when someone totally hates an idea. But it is funny being on the other side.
Oh, yeah, that is so true. I'm always like, oh.
It would be, for HR, we can't take it personal. We don't take whatever you say personal. We just have to be professional enough to know what you're really saying in most cases, and try to fix a benefit you guys. That's what we're here for, to try to help make your day easier. I mean, we can't help you with your work, but at least if we give you that extra, you'll be a little happier to do your job. So I say, yeah, go in on the survey. Say exactly what you feel.
Nice. Answer that with confidence.
Yeah. Like, we're going in next time.
Okay. So I'm sure that as you've kind of come back to just on a remote world, there have been different tools that you've used to kind of help bridge the gaps of like not being in person. Are there any favorites that you have, like Teams or Slack or anything that you really are like, this is a great tool that helps us, build that community?
Teams and Zoom. We do a lot of onboarding either on Teams or on Zoom. And for the most part, I have to admit, it's been working great. I cannot complain. As far as systems goes, I just wish most more of the systems were integrated a little bit better. But other than that, they work fine. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a sentiment that a lot of users could say across the board, across agencies, across departments, fields of study. I know that like we've found with design that we've talked about, we found design has had a lot of like great tools come out recently because like remote has really forced the, you can't go and do interviews in person. You can't do certain things in person. Now things are trying to open up a little bit, but with, depending upon which variants around where, you might not know. So we've definitely found that there's actually been like an increase in accessibility to remote tools.
Yeah, remote collaboration tools.
Yeah.
I will appreciate, though, when we finally stop switching what we're using. Like either from, I think MetroStar has settled in and we've been settled in. We recently just our client is switched to who they used. So we had lots of meetings of, the future one needs to be in like XYZ server. And I was like, okay. These were already scheduled out.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you switch whatever meeting setup type you have to delete the meeting and like reset it up. And you spam a lot of people with meeting invites. So then I guess this is something that I think has been a very hot topic with the workforce. What tips do you have for onboarding remotely? I've worked at MetroStar for almost 2.5 years now. Mm-hmm. So when the pandemic hit, I knew my team well. I knew my bosses well. I knew sort of like I knew who was who, or at least knew who to ask to find out who I needed to talk to. That seems like a very intimidating like learning curve for those entering a new job remotely. Do you have tips for people on that?
Well, actually, I know it's kind of an older model, but a buddy system. Having that one contact that somebody can go to, it helps. I mean, that buddy can basically introduce that person to more people. We also have the 30, 60, 90-day plan that kind of forces you to get out and talk to people and get to meet other people that you really need to be in contact with anyway. I think that's a really good plan to actually follow through on your 30, 60, and 90-day plan. I know for me, it helped me, even though I had been here before, it helped me because some of the people that's here were not here when I was here. So it helped me get to know a lot of different people. So I say definitely follow through on your 30, 60, 90-day plan. And hopefully we can get the buddy system going in each department.
That's a great technique.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, you guys can also volunteer to be that buddy.
Just start it.
In each department, if we have volunteers, it just works a lot easier because if it's something you really want to do, you're going to enjoy it and you do a better job at it. That's all. So if you don't mind being that buddy, that's a good thing. When me telling you to be that buddy, that may not be so good for you because you may not want to be that person. So I was trying to come up with that process to see if it's required or, volunteered. So.
With the buddy system, because I was wondering if maybe there was some hesitation in, right, kind of being a buddy could be intimidating if you've never done it before, and then having to now do it remotely and maybe not knowing like what's required of me because it has to be a lot more intentional virtually than like walking by your buddy's desk and like, hey, I'm going for a coffee, or like, that's a lot easier and organic, or at least organic things are easier to me than virtual is. You have to have intent.
Which is why it hasn't been pushed out, because we have to come up with that process, because we don't want you just, hey, I'm Karen, just if you need anything, call me. No, I want you to make that person actually feel a part of the team and let them know within the group, because different programs have different requirements and different things that they do that HR can't really tell you about. So I got to figure all of that out. But we need somebody within that group to be that buddy, because a lot of times, you probably could agree with me, your manager may or may not have that time to, to focus. Whereas if that's your teammate, they may, and they're doing the same thing, it's a little easier for you to learn from them than your manager.
Yeah, and it's probably like, I think of it as, to your point with the manager, sometimes it's just easier to ask a colleague than like your new boss, because you don't want to be that person that's like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to make a bad impression with my new boss, So I appreciate the like the same level, like colleague, like teammate, colleague,
Like, I do know what you hired me to do. I just
just need to get a little started.
Yeah. Just have a few questions here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the good part though about MetroStar is you don't have to be afraid. You really don't have to be afraid. If you don't know something, you have a question, just ask. Literally, you can ask anybody that's been here for a little while, and they can direct you to where you're going to find that answer that you need. So, I mean, that's the best part. You don't really have to be that afraid.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I wish more people did it. I took that advice from somebody that was like, just like ping whoever, like who's ever been mentioned to you about whatever topic. And I totally agree. At MetroStar, I can ping people out of the blue who I've never met before, like give my little brief, like, hey, blah, blah, I'm here. And then you can just like end up chatting with them like for weeks on end randomly. But it is like, just go for it. And what's the worst thing on Teams? They ghost you on that. At least it wasn't in person. Like, maybe they never saw it.
Yeah. but that's a great point. Like, yeah, I guess I haven't been really intimidated to IM anyone that's not on our project. Like, there are so many people I haven't met in person, just like, even if they were at MetroStar the same time I was, we were just on different projects and we just didn't cross paths. But on Teams, I can just shoot them an IM and, no problem. And like you said, like if they don't answer, they don't answer. Like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I've been back, I found that they really do answer. I had a question about my iPhone. I got on Teams and I'm like, hey, why would this happen? And he reached out, and even a couple of weeks later, he's like, hey, just checking to make sure you're okay, that you don't have any more questions. So I'm like, okay, I like that. So it's still the same. It was like that before, and it's still the same. I love that part of MetroStar. So,
yeah, we're a friendly bunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then, as we kind of like wrap up a little bit with some of our questions that have been grilling you, this is no small question, but when you picture the future of work for 2022 and even beyond, remote or in person, what do you think it looks like?
I think it's going to still be a little bit of both. And that's just to protect our employees. We value you guys, and we don't want to bring you into a situation that's going to harm you. So it's best to take it slow and let it work out the way it worked. So we just watch the CDC and keep track of what's going on, and we'll make decisions from that point. But with all of the work we get with people working from home, it's kind of valuable to keep you at home. No. Yeah, I think we have happier employees right now because they have the option to be at home. So it's more like a work-life balance that they really enjoy. So.
Yeah, I can totally agree. We come in every once in a while to do these recordings. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I used to do this every day. Like, I am good with a circus morning like once every couple of weeks now.
I actually come in every day, well, Monday to Friday. And mainly because most of the times I'm here by myself, or, on the first floor, it's probably me. So until it get dark, then sorry guys, I'm a chicken, I run out.
Well, it's totally understandable, especially now it's getting dark so early. Like, yeah. So, well, first off, we just wanted to thank you so much for coming on in our podcast and kind of giving us a glimpse into what 2022 is going to look like for the workforce. Any other?
No, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
and
Thanks for having me.
us too. And so this is Mock It. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And join us next time. As always, if you're interested in learning more about how tech and government collide, visit metrostar.com and follow us on our socials.